All right, everyone. I'm thrilled to have Ashley Meyer here today. And for me, it's a little bit, I feel like I'm taking a full circle around because I have a really cool story. I'm excited to share it with you guys. I first stumbled on to Ashley several years ago. And I think it was your podcast maybe that I first found. I'm not 100% sure, but I became instantly obsessed with consuming everything that you were building with MOMpire, following your journey, navigating, building businesses and raising babies and all of that. And so when you reached out to be here on the Work Life Harmony podcast, it was such an amazing moment for me that I was so thrilled to be able to have you here. So I will let you introduce yourself and then we're going to jump into our conversation today.
Well, thank you so much, Meg. I'm so excited to be here just chatting with you. I mean, we have been in touch for several years now. I took quite a step back at the early season of COVID. Mm-hmm. So we just kind of like got the wheels turning full throttle, I'd say again, back last year. So it's been kind of fun to just ramp everything back up and reconnect with all the amazing women that have been on this journey with me. So I'm Ashley Meyer. I'm an attorney, wife, mom, entrepreneur. I have 3 kids, Brian, Easton, Brooklyn. They're 7, 6, and 2. I'm a redhead. I love pizza like nobody's business. I have 2 redheaded children, and my daughter somehow magically came out a brownie like her daddy. So I don't know what happened there. But I love business. I love life. I'm a former professional organizer. Megan and I were talking about that. Former professional organizer before I became a lawyer. I sold that company. And so I will always have a heart for simplicity and structure and really allowing those to be your access to the freedom that you so desperately want. So even inside my mom entrepreneur company that I run, the MOMpire Network, we truly believe that when you set up the right systems, you can live a life that's fully fulfilling and also have a business that's highly, highly profitable. You don't have to trade one for the other. So that whole thing that you're all about, just structure for freedom, is everything to us.
Yeah. And even, we were chatting before we started recording this on being able to run an entire business in 8 to 10 hours a week, right? To me, that's the dream, not the I'm working 80 hours a day. I'm everywhere. I'm all the time. And, get completely strung out, which is what we're going to talk about some today. But I told Ashley I was going to share a story with her, but I wasn't going to tell her what it was.
You want to trick me here, trick me into crying. I already told Megan I'm like in a sensitive mood today. So we'll see what happens when
this is not in an effort to make anyone cry, but it was just a very pivotal moment for me. And I actually wrote a blog post several years back, kind of on my full circle around with this. But as most people know, I came from a very male corporate background, working in IT, and then the last 7 years in aviation. So I mean, FAA, MIT, just a lot of guys. And I was working there full time when my daughter was born. And I remember, I had a home office for a long time. And going back to the office for the first time after she was born, it was like my first trip back. I think she was maybe 6 months or so. It was very nervous for me to leave and all that. And I hadn't seen any of my coworkers because we all lived remotely. And we're all kind of gathered in the conference room, and the meeting's about to start, but hasn't. And so, I do what is a normal instinct to me, which is to pull out my phone and show these people pictures of my child. I mean, I've worked with them for a while. And I remember this man, heavy sigh, and rolled his eyes. He's like, "Oh, great. That's all we're going to hear about from you now." And it just it was like a dagger in the heart. Right. And I thought, okay, I guess at that time, I remember thinking, I have to close this off. Like, I'm at work. I do not get to be a mom. And I didn't even know that all that was going on in my head, but I just remember recognizing, like, I've got to separate this. And then, years passed, and I started, this time, I guess I'd finally fully left corporate and was now running, co-founded another company. And we were having a huge event, and it was always really important to me to involve my daughter in my work. And so from 4 years old, having her do things, helping me with stuff. Today, she does graphics for me. And I always wanted to bring her into the business. But I had this day where we were about to go to the event, and my husband and daughter, they're like, "Well, hey, can we, we'll stop by at lunchtime. When's the lunch break?" And I had this moment of panic. I was like, what do you mean you guys are coming by? Like, this is work. and they were so excited to be there. And I had to sit in that moment and figure out, like, why is this bothering me? And I realized I had always shared my work with my family, but I'd never felt I could bring my family into my work. And the timing of it was impeccable. You had sent out a mailing because I was in your group, and a sticker came that said, "Don't hide your motherhood." And I kept that taped to a journal, and I still have it upstairs. And it was in that moment that I realized I had felt like I had to have this dual life, and that there was motherhood and there was work, and you could never could the two live simultaneously and harmoniously together. And that was the day I said, no more. I am not going to hide my motherhood. And they came to the event. It was a highlight of my day. I have a photo that I adore of my daughter sitting on my lap while I'm braiding her hair as we're listening to one of the speakers. And they loved having her there. And it was just such a wake-up call and a real transformation for me in my messaging and how I want to show up as a business owner and as a mom. And I just wanted to thank you for that, because that simple statement of "don't hide your motherhood" is really powerful. It really was a massive change for me.
I completely appreciate that story. And I feel like for a lot of women, they feel the same as you. And for me, the reason that message even came up and was a message that became a platform on which we built MOMpire is that I always felt like I had to hide my motherhood. Yeah. So being a lawyer, owning a law firm, suited all the time, suits, high heels, super buttoned up, being fresh to the game. I was 8.5 months pregnant when I took the bar exam with my first son to get licensed as an attorney. And so by the time I got bar results, he was like a week old when I got bar results. He was born on Mother's Day that year. And that Friday, so that was a Sunday, on Friday, I got bar results and passed. And then a few weeks later, I got sworn in as an attorney. And so he was on my hip. I don't even know how I put on a suit to be sworn in, because I was, postpartum, just literally had a baby come out of my body. So, and it's funny. So in that sense, he was with me and he was part of the journey. And then, I convinced my husband to quit his corporate law position to become self-employed and own our firm together. And at that point, Brian was 6 months old, and I found out I was pregnant with my second. And so suddenly I was going to have 2 kids, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say about it. Sure. Men had comments. I have really long curly hair, and men had comments that I should always wear my hair in a bun. It's just more professional, and you shouldn't have your hair down. And so I was very used to comments. Yeah. But the thing for me was, once I became a mom, I just wanted a place where I could just be me. I didn't want to have to hide one part or the other. Mm-hmm. And it's a huge foundation of why MOMpire started and why it's grown the way it has, is because of that. And that's why we sent out that card, the "Don't Hide Your Motherhood," because none of us should ever feel shame in having children. I mean, how absurd is that? Right? Like, the fact that,
and wearing the label of "I'm a mom," like, yeah, why is that a less than, or something that needs to not be highlighted? I'm like, that's freaking superpower right there. In my opinion.
Absolutely. I had a friend of mine a couple years ago write a post about, she's not a boss mom, she's a boss. And I was like, yes. Oh, that's interesting. Yes. And so I thought about that, I processed it for a while, and I said, I really need to speak to this. And I didn't speak like at her, towards her. She and I talked about it. And then I posted this because I thought it was a really important message. Whether you're a mom listening to this podcast episode, or you have some other title that's important to you in addition to your other titles, like, don't feel like you have to hide any titles. And in fact, honor your titles. Be excited about the titles that you hold. They're important. They are a definition of who you are. So boss versus boss mom, I'm sorry, but the moment I became a mom, I became 10 times more capable, 10 times more organized, 10 times more efficient, 10 times more aligned with my vision and my values, all of these things. So I don't hide what that brought me. And I don't hide that it exists still. And I'm just like you, taking your daughter to that event. Our boys grew up in our law firm. Brooklyn hasn't had that luxury so much because COVID hit, and then so many things happening in the world. And I had all 3 kids. So she wasn't kind of tagging along to events the way the boys were, because there just really weren't as many events. But she's every bit involved in MOMpire now, and still to an extent, as we grow in different ways. We're starting an entrepreneurial academy here in our town where we live for kids, so a K through 12 school. So she'll be along that ride. So it's a matter of like honoring your titles. Don't let them define you, but honor what they are to you and be proud of them, whatever they may be. It's something, it's an achievement. And instead of letting it be a weight, honor the gift that it's given you.
Oh, that's so good. And I think you just perfectly explained why. I know that some people love the term, some don't, of mompreneur. Like, I own that.
Yeah.
I am that. I love calling myself that, because to me, it represents that not hiding my motherhood. And 2 things I'm super proud of. Like, I've built a business and I'm a mom and I'm doing them simultaneously. And so for me, I will wear that badge with pride all day long. But I love it. I think you nailed exactly why that is. But everybody has a right to have the title that they want and have it mean what they want, and step into it and own it. And that's great. I know one of the things you and I are, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, don't fear your title, I guess, is the important message. A lot of people somehow fear like, oh, having the word mom attached or dad attached or whatever that other title that you're not sure about, having that attached to your business title or your acknowledgement title somehow diminishes it. Like, don't do that to yourself. Like, honor the gift. These titles are all gifts. You pick your title, but don't not pick a title because you fear it takes from your other titles. Like, own them.
So good. Yes.
Oh,
and right there, be like, mic drop. One of the things that we are both so in alignment with is just thoughts around the hustle culture, and particularly with women. Would love for you to share, your views on that. And then more importantly, if for women that feel like they're stuck in that today, how do we start that transition to get out of it? Because for me, I think it's a slippery slope. I fell into the whole, you just got to go all in for 4 to 5 years. And then you can, and then what happens? The 4 to 5 years pass, and guess what? Nothing's changing. And, thankfully I had some external resources come in, like starting a family and all that forced me to slow down. But I see so many women heading down that road right now. And I just think, please, like, stop.
It's like a train wreck you can't turn your eyes from when you know what's on the other side, like, don't do it. I promise there's a better way. No, for sure. So when I think about hustle oftentimes is preached as this entrepreneurial path. And it's the only way to success. And it's a complete lie. When Brian was, Brian was almost 2, Easton was 1.5 years, my body gave out. I've been a competitive athlete like my whole life, very active, very fit, eat pretty dang good compared to like the average diet, I'd say. And I killed myself. I mean, I literally just annihilated everything in me. So back in 2017, 2017, June, I woke up one day and just like could not get out of bed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like physically in pain. I like cannot, it's hard to get out of bed. And people are like, are you depressed? And I'm like, I don't think so. But I like really, I'm having a hard time like physically moving. Everything's hard. And they're like, no, you're probably depressed. I'm like, I really don't know. I mean, I look at my life and it's pretty dang good, but like, I don't know. I don't feel right. Basically what happened was I had hustled building our law firm, and I had hustled building MOMpire unknowingly. Like, MOMpire started by accident.
Right.
In July 2015, I had no idea. I was like starting a Facebook group because I got kicked out of a mom's group because business didn't belong there. And I shared a little children's consignment boutique, was having 50% off designer stuff. And they did not want that. They didn't like that I was a business owner. They kicked me out, and it started a chain reaction. Super hurt. I started MOMpire, all that. Sometimes when you start things by accident, there's not a whole lot of strategy behind it. It just starts, and it like blew up. And I was like, oh my gosh, where are we going? So I'm chasing this thing that's blowing up in front of me. Meanwhile, I'm building my law firm that's blowing up in front of me, all blowing up in good ways, you guys. To be honest, these are not like bad things, that they have a lot of traction and momentum, but this is where hustle happens. Hustle happens for lack of strategy. When you don't have a plan is when hustle happens, because everybody preaches at you to do all the things, and all the things are attractive, right? Facebook ads, Pinterest strategy, you've got email marketing, you've got list building, you've got online products, you've got passive funnels, you've got scheduling and calendars and physical planners and digital planners and all the things, right? So you're being pitched all these ways of living life and doing business successfully. The reality is you can't do all of that. And I think we all know that subconsciously and maybe consciously, but when you're first starting out and you're like trying to get everything off the ground, you tend to not have a strategy, especially on the MOMpire side. When it was an accident, starting that, you don't have these strategies. So then suddenly you're like grasping at all these different ideas because you yourself don't have the vision. And so that's exactly what happened. That's what happened to me. I was just killing myself doing all the things without vision, without a clear, I knew I wanted to make money. I knew I wanted to make an impact. I knew what I was doing was good, but I didn't know how to do it the right way and well. And so what ended up happening was one day my body just gave out. I developed adrenal fatigue, which if you're familiar with that, great. If you're not, adrenal fatigue is basically your adrenaline and cortisol system in your body that like pushes your energy to get through stuff and allows you to calm down and recover from things. And my body was just going, what? All the time. My body basically ran out of adrenaline. I ran out of adrenaline. I didn't know how to fix it. My gut health went to garbage, all the things, and I had to recover. And that's what hustling does to you. Almost 7 years of running MOMpire and hearing stories from women all over the place, all the different ways they've tried to do business. That is the consistent story. Whether they reach adrenal fatigue or not, maybe I was extreme, but most of them burn out. And this is what happens. They hustle their butts off and they burn out, and they usually have financial debt because they've invested in things trying to make their business work. They have money stress in their families because they're ashamed of the debt they've taken on. They have tension between their marriage, usually if they're married or in a relationship, because the person on the other side doesn't fully understand what they are doing. At the same time, the person trying to do the work isn't getting where they want to go. So there's all these things. And then there's breakdowns that happen, right? So that hustle really doesn't produce a profitable or joyful result. At the end of the day, I truly believe, Megan, that always, like traditional methods work. Like go back old school, have a business plan. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but like lay out your vision and values against which you'll make all decisions. Set your schedule ahead of time. Define what it is that you want your days to look like. How many hours can you actually work in a week? If you're trying to design a business that requires 70 hours, but realistically you have like 30, you're going to hate life and you're never going to be successful, right? It's the same with personal stuff. Like you have to define your life, define your values, your vision for that, and then build the business against that. So when you're going into this sudden hustle, you can step back and say, whoa, pump the brakes. Is this what I want? Is this actually in alignment with the plan? Oh, somebody said if I do this, I'll make X more dollars or I'll have X more freedom. Well, let me look at my life vision and say, okay, this is what I want, X, Y, Z. If I want X, Y, Z, do I actually need that? Do I need that other level of achievement? Or is that going to rob me of more time with my family or rob me of my ability to still invest in my self-care? What is it that is that happy balance? So things like a foundational business plan, networking. If you're not in business listening to this podcast, don't worry. A life plan is still valuable. Like have a vision for your life. Don't walk through life aimlessly. You'll be thrown opportunities and things you don't know how to take advantage of, or you'll say yes to things you should have said no to because you weren't clear on what you wanted. So have some kind of plan in place. And then honestly, whether you're in business or personal, have a good network, because that network, whether it's personal or business, is going to be the thing that lifts you up and saves you. It's not just family. You need people beyond your family. Your family may be great and that's awesome, but there are going to be ways that other people will show up for you that your family might not know how to. So invest in a really good network. Sometimes you got to pay to play. You got to go the right places. So you have people that actually want to be there and actually want to give back. That's one thing I love about the MOMpire network is these women show up for each other and show up deep. Like we had a single mom that left an abusive marriage right before she joined the MOMpire network. And in the first 45 days of her being in there, she made $7,500 in referrals. As a single mom leaving an abusive relationship with like a 3-year-old son, that's a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
To know that she can transition like that. And that's like just being part of the right network. And in the meantime, she had really broken moments where she just like cried and needed to break down and be safe in community. And that's what the sisterhood did for her. So it's important to remember that whether it's personal or business or anything like that, having the right people around you is essential. So when it comes to not hustling, all those things are valuable. The other thing too, when you get to a certain point, leveraging things out. The reason why I can run MOMpire in like 8 to 12 hours a week is because I have everything structured, right? You always say, Megan, structure is freedom. Structure is freedom. I have everything structured. So even though I'm a high touch community and everybody inside the MOMpire network, it's almost like sisterhood and community and like mini coaching in a way, because they get high touch from me. But I'm able to do that high touch in very few hours, very limited time, because everything else that can be automated or structured is. I don't do automation, so it's impersonal, because I hate that. Right. I'm so sick of all these online businesses that automate everything to the point that all you talk to is a bot. Like you're not ever talking to people anymore. In my email marketing that we send out, I always like sign like, PS, I'm a real human. So if you hit reply, I will be. I
will say the same thing. I'm like, I'm actually reading these. Like it's me. I read it. I'm here. I'll reply back to you. Yeah,
exactly. Because I think people have gone to this place where they're so afraid of hustle. They've taken all of the joy. To me, the connection is the joy. I'm not going to rob myself of that joy that I find in business. So I'm going to automate the things that aren't really that much fun, but that are essential. I'm going to automate and leverage those things out. And then I can be there for the things that I find really valuable. And that are the things that when people give me
all in, because you're not tapped out from all of the other behind the scenes stuff that's running on autopilot, so that you have the freedom and the power to be fully present within the confines of what you've decided you want to give to that. It's magical.
Exactly. Yeah. You just have to choose. Now, when I say leverage things out, I'm going to be honest. I hate laundry. Hate it. So I have a nanny for my daughter, and for people listening to this, if you're like, oh, she has a nanny, it must be nice. I've been there. I get it. There was a time I could not afford a freaking babysitter for a date night. Like, please don't think that 3-4 years down the road, you might be in these shoes where you can pay for things you don't enjoy. But hear me on this one, because it's really important to your personal joy. I have a nanny that is a retired teacher and an absolute gift to my life. She nannies my daughter, and then my 2 boys, when they get home from school, she does reading and writing and math with them. She's a reading and writing specialist as well. So I've been blessed in that. But while Brooklyn sleeps, she does my laundry and puts away all the kids and puts mine and my husband's on our bed. And then, of course, mine sits there for like 4 days. And then finally I put it away. We're all human. Okay. We're all human. Like, let's not hide the reality. But there was a time where I could not afford things like this. So I traded people for stuff. Hey, I'm really good at writing emails. Can I write some emails for you? In exchange, can you do some graphics for me? Hey, I really need a date night. I need a freaking break. My girlfriend and I made an agreement. Neither of us could afford babysitters, so we swapped. I would take her kids one night a month. She would take my kids one night a month. Like, do not be ashamed in the barter game, I call it. Like, show up in a way that you develop meaningful relationships with people. Again, that network is so important, personal or professional. Have relationships with people where you can say, hey, I'd really like to leverage this thing out. It just does not bring me joy. Can I trade with somebody? And start like really thinking about in your network who, like, maybe somebody's really gifted at cleaning. They'll clean your house once a month, and you might do something for them. Like, maybe they just need a mental break and need somebody to take their kids for a day once a month. There are real ways that you can leverage relationships that is mutually beneficial, but gives you freedom and space to breathe and to be centered and to know who you are and not feel like you're being talked at. Like, the overstimulation is real for adults too. It's not just kids. Like, you do need a break from the noise, from the chatter, from all the things. So when it talk about getting out of hustle, make sure you start looking at leveraging. Like, what can you leverage out? Think about it. I would rather leverage out my laundry more than my childcare. I actually really enjoy being with my kids a lot. So for me, I would always pay somebody to clean my house or do my laundry rather than me to do that stuff and pay somebody to take care of my kids while I do it. So think about your joy tank. Like, what is it that fills it up? And then leverage it out based on that stuff. Make a shit list. Sorry if that's not accepted, but make a shit list of things you don't like to do. And then figure out ways that you can remove those from your life, leveraging them out, saying no to things that you don't need to be doing, whatever the case.
We even did that. I'll encourage people to sit down and do that together as a family too. Cause I found like I had a lot of resentment for stuff I was doing around the house that I hate. And so when we sat down and made the list of here are the things I do that I currently do that I hate versus here are things I don't mind doing, it was kind of eye-opening because there was stuff I hated doing that my husband's like, dude, I'll do that. I don't care. And vice versa, that for years, I'm like, that was such a wasted opportunity that when he saw like, this was number 2 on my list and he's like, I don't mind it that much. Great. It's now yours. And then I'll take this on instead. And we just kind of realigned some stuff around just the house that brought a lot more joy and freedom for both of us.
Oh my gosh. Amen, sister. Amen. Yeah. And it's funny, in the same vein, like my husband realized that laundry gives me anxiety. I mean, I can do it. I've done it forever, but on my list and with as many things as he and I do together for business, and then the way we value our time with our children, neither of us want to waste time just folding laundry. We just don't. Like, I'll run it all through and have it prepped for my nanny, and then she just folds it and puts it away. But when he realized years ago that the pile of clean laundry on the couch was just ruining my day, he was like, this, of all the things we need to fix, this is like number 1. And he's like, I don't want to do it either. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, let's think about this. What can we do about it? He was all on board for a solution. It wasn't going to be him, but he was all on board for the solution. And guess what? It just, through the years, we know that that's always something that we need to consider and have taken care of. It just is, and again, it's different for everybody. And please don't roll your eyes, ladies. This is something you can all have or do. And it's just a matter of how you get it done, whatever it is. My mom loves laundry. Good job, Mom. Love you too. Not me.
Oh, it's so true. And sometimes it's the silliest things that then we beat ourselves up on thinking this shouldn't bother me that much. Like for me, emptying the dishwasher. I mean, turns out my husband's like, I don't care. I'll just empty the dishwasher. Like, so fantastic. I'm like super, but I'm feeling dumb. I'm like, Megan, this shouldn't bother you that much. It literally takes 2 minutes, but for whatever reason, it just does. So now we know that. And so we put some stuff around. It didn't cost a thing. As it is.
Well, and that's the thing. Exactly. You can leverage it out. It might be to your spouse, to your partner. It might be to your kids. You guys, let's create opportunity for our kids. Our kids have responsibility at 6 and 7. They have real things that they have to contribute with. And we do not allow laziness. Laziness is actually, lazy is a dirty word in our house. It is not allowed to be spoken or expressed. Now, laziness and rest are 2 different things. Yes. We believe deeply in rest, deeply. Like one of our sons wasn't feeling well last night, so he went to bed even without dinner. He's like, Mommy, Daddy, I just need to go to sleep. We're like, okay, that's totally fine. We got him tucked in, rubbed his back, let him go to sleep. Our other son was like, I'm high on life. Things are great. But he was really tired from a really busy weekend. And we said, we know that you're excited. We know there's a great week ahead, but we still want you to actually go to bed a few minutes early tonight, because if brother's not feeling well, you may get something too. And we want to get ahead of rest a little bit because you have your first week of baseball games this week. So we really want you to do that. And so he totally understood. He got in bed. He was asleep before my husband even got into the room to rub his back and kiss him goodnight. So, leaning into rest is important. Being lazy is not an acceptable thing. So give your kids responsibility. Everything from like my 2-year-old, Brooklyn, she will help unload the dishwasher. I will be unloading.
Send her my way.
No, I know. I kind of feel the same way about a dishwasher that you do, but I have to just accept where we're at with that one. but truly, like, she will unload all of her plastic dishes into her drawers. She knows where they go. She'll carry laundry to the bedroom. So if I'm folding or if our nanny Dory's folding, she'll carry things into the rooms. She loves helping.
Well, that's that, I know it age where they want to, and it's like, you got to find ways to do it.
Well, here's the deal. As moms, we're always really busy, right? So we're like, no, just let me finish this. Yeah. No, you know what? If I just do it, it'll just get done faster.
Easier. Yep.
The problem with that is we remove that expectation from our children. We remove that opportunity for growth from them. And guess what? Suddenly they wake up one day without the desire anymore. And so teaching it to them is that much harder. So I would say, like, leverage this early on, teach them. Our boys helped build our hunting cabin. So they were there hammering nails. They helped lay a subfloor. Like, this is all important stuff. They watched the electrical go in. They didn't participate in that, but they helped construct furniture. It's important to know that your kids are really capable, which is the foundation of why we're starting our entrepreneurial academy for kids. I can't even talk, because these skills are foundational skills that sometimes as parents, we don't have the opportunity to facilitate them growing in or learning. But if you want to escape hustle also, it's important to allow your children to become part of that story and allow them to become part of the journey, because it's going to be a journey. It's not suddenly you're going to wake up and be out of hustle. If you've gone like deep dive, you're going to have to kind of crawl out, and you're going to have to slowly make the changes that eventually will lead you a little bit more to the freedom that you're looking for.
Oh, that's so good. Where can everyone go to learn more about MOMpire and everything that you've got going on right now?
Yeah, if you want to check out the MOMpire Network, which is where we do life, motherhood, and business together, just holistically, people get collaboration, referrals, partnerships, all that. You can just go to joinmompire.com. We have a free 30-day trial going right now. So you get full access to the network, 100%, all the resources, all the people, no limitations on features, because I want people to dive in, actually feel the experience of being part of a network like that. And then after that, it's your choice to join, no obligation. So if you're looking to join that, you can go check it out there. If you just want to like follow along on the journey and just kind of see what we're all about, you can just hang out on Instagram with us. We're just the MOMpire. It's just my favorite place. I'm not big on Facebook anymore, so we don't hang out a lot there. We have our Facebook page, but we closed down our group of 10,000 people because it was time to move on to a different season. Also, a part of honoring anti-hustle culture is honoring what takes your energy. Facebook took my energy. I didn't enjoy the experience anymore. And so we moved fully to Instagram, and then we have our network, which is a full app and a desktop platform.
Oh, so much goodness. I mean, this truly, just sitting here today when I was reviewing my calendar, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to sit down and chat with Ashley. This was such a treat. So thank you for sharing with us your most precious commodity, which is time. It has been a real pleasure to have you here today.
Megan, you're amazing. I just appreciate you so much. I just honor your journey, and I just know what you're sharing with the world is such an amazing gift to you. And I'm glad that you just kept pursuing it and that you have this beautiful community you're building. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.